Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is Cam Marriott, and I am so excited to be chatting today with Myungeun Kim, an incredibly talented motion designer. And let us know as we go through, drop where you're from in the chat, and please also drop any questions you have for Myungeun as we go. And Myungeun, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you. First of all, thanks for having me today. I'm really excited to be here today, but slightly nervous. So bear with me if I make any mistakes. So
You
hello,
got this.
everyone. Yeah, thank you. Hello, I'm Myungeun Kim. Um, I'm motion graphics designer, animator, and art director. I was born and raised in South Korea and moved to the UK like 5.5 years ago. And then I worked in video production company and animation studio in London and Brighton. And I've been in this industry like for nearly 10 years, which is crazy. So yeah, so throughout my career, I've worked on a variety of projects like commercial ads, animation for documentary, sports contents, or just creative personal projects. So I've also worked on diverse style of animation, but like always I was drawn to textures. Like I love playing around with analog inspired texture and like mix them with 2D vector graphic style or 3D graphics. So texturing is my happy place.
Amazing.
So
And you're going to be showing us some texture today, right?
yeah, that's correct.
I'm
So
so
yeah,
excited.
this is the sample exam animation we're gonna look at. Especially because we have time limit today, so we're gonna focus on this brush textures coming out of this trumpet. And then if time
Gorgeous.
allows, we're gonna also look at the textures in background elements. Yeah, sorry, I was just like keep talking.
No, no, it's gorgeous. I'm excited to get started. And we're already getting some amazing compliments. Kieran is saying your work looks amazing. So we're really
Oh,
excited
thank
to see how
you.
you pull this together.
Thank you. Okay, so then I'll open the After Effects file. So, oh, just so you know, I think it might be good if you have basic After Effects knowledge. And so, yeah, some like if you're just first time using After Effects, you might struggle. But if you like struggle with like following me, let me know. Then I can like go back and then show you again, or I can slow it down. So please let me know. So okay, so I'm gonna create first of all like basic texture comp. And then to do that, I'll create new composition. So click this comp icon here and I'll say brush texture. And then I'll make it 1920 width and then 1080 height. So now we've got new comp here. And then I'm gonna create new uh, layer. To do that, you hold Command key and click the Y key, and then create this new layer. And then go to Effects and search for fractal noise. So
Oh,
we get
cool.
this, yeah, very smoky like graphics. But to create this texture, when you look at the animation, so you see this texture is quite long stretched. So I'm gonna make that like texture. So to do that, you go to transform and then untick this uniform scaling box. And then I'm gonna make it really stretched.
Ah,
Okay. Yeah, and then make it a bit maybe this like this. And then I'll adjust contrast. Bright, maybe I'll tone down this brightness. Yeah, so this is gonna be kind of base of the texture.
Cool. May I ask, where did you learn to do this? Is
Yeah.
this something from just playing around in After Effects, or do you have the vision first and then you go to find out how
Um,
to create the texture?
I think it's all mixed experience because as I said, I worked on really diverse style of like graphics, animation, motion graphics, and then as you like work on more like projects, you learn bits and bobs from here and there, and then you realize, oh, I can use fractal noise to make texture. And then also when you like good thing about After Effects, you don't need to know from A to Z. Um, and then just if you like have idea, oh, I want to make like texture or brush something, and you just Google and find like tutorial, and you kind of keep like watching tutorial, and then you learn different tips here and there. Yeah, I think that's how
Very
I
cool.
I got to know all these techniques.
I love it. Slowly adding to your repertoire.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I always think like just keep working on different projects, always helping me to like develop your skills and finding also like sometimes you find like happy accidents. You didn't mean to create
Mhm.
something, but yeah, you find some kind of cool graphics. So
Cool.
yeah. Okay, so from here, I want to make it like alpha channel. So I want to just take this white bit to be a texture. So to make this black area become alpha channel, I'm gonna put let me see, okay, shifts channel. Okay. Yeah, add this effects on this layer and then change this alpha from alpha to luminance. And then we're gonna take every red, green, blue to full on.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay, now we've got alpha channel, so you look at this see-through. So, okay, when you turn on this transparency grid, I want to see more obviously the where is the alpha channel. I'm gonna change the composition background color. To do that, hold the command key and then press the K and then change the background color to black. Okay, we can see better. Okay, so we've got basic kind of long stretch one. But on top of it, I'm gonna add roughen edge to make it more textured. To do that, so I'm gonna add adjustment layer. So hold the Command Alt key and then press the Y. So we've got adjustment layer here. Go to effects and find roughen edge.
And just for everybody too in the chat, you will be able to catch this replay on YouTube. It's so
Mm,
detailed. There's so much great information. So if you want to come back and try to replicate this, you can do so by watching the replay.
yeah, that's good. I was going to mention because I might be a bit too maybe fast to summon.
No,
So
it's
yeah, you
great.
can
It's great.
yeah, you guys can check this all this value again. So yeah, so I edited roughen edge and there's a different type of edge like roughen or rusty or spiky, whatever you
Hmm.
like. You just play around with it. Maybe I could go with the rusty one and then maybe I can change the all the value a bit. So like decrease the border, like adjust the scale, and I can add complexity maybe 3. Um, So yeah, we adding this a bit of, okay, let's change a little bit more. Okay. And then, so when you look at the animation, so these textures are moving from one side to the other side. So I'm gonna make that in this comp. So when you go back to fractal noise, when you see under transform offset turbulence, so you can like animate this X position. So one way
Cool.
to do it is you click this watch icon and then you go to all the way back to this end of the frame and then increase the value. So this is the one way of doing it, but I'm going to show you a different way. So I'm going to use expression. So when you click this watch icon while holding Alt, and then I'm going to type time expression. So before doing actually everything, I'm going to show the example. So when you put time in the expression, it means it increases the number every frame. So for now, you will see really tiny bit. So I can increase, maybe you can multiply it. So you can multiply maybe 500 and then 500, then we'll, yeah,
Oh,
moving.
cool.
So without keyframe, it's moving by itself.
Ah,
Um,
I'm such
as
a
well,
keyframe person. I didn't know that. I'm like, that's awesome.
yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, I often use it because sometimes you keyframe from 1 second, like let's say you keyframed from here to 5 here, like, and then oh, I want it to be faster and go back here and then
Mm.
increase a little bit more. But rather than doing it, just using this expression and just like adjust this number. So like this goes 300. So oh, it's frozen.
That's
Play.
all right. We can give it a
Okay.
sec to think.
Okay, and now it's working.
Cool.
So yeah, but we don't want it to move Y position. So I didn't explain very well in the first place. So when you put this value here, I put twice. It means the first one is the X position and then the second one is Y position. So I don't want the Y position moving. So I'm going to delete
Mm.
this and then I'll put value and then bracket 1. So when you put value, it means the number you put manually in this. So now Y position you can just adjust just manually,
Ah,
but X position will follow just this expression. So now it's just moving X position. Okay.
wait.
So also I kind of want to add more animation on it rather than just moving X position. So I'm gonna animate this evolution in this fractal noise. So I want it to keep moving whilst it's moving from X position. So again, I'm gonna use expression. So click this watch icon while holding Alt key. So say time multiply maybe 200. So yeah, it's moving
Oh,
X
look at that.
position, but also keep moving within itself. So yeah, this is gonna be our base texture.
That's really cool. I feel like I can already see a lot of use cases for that too. Like it kind of looks like water moving. Like
Yeah, I
it's a lot
know.
of different textures,
Yeah,
potential use cases for this. Very cool.
yeah, it is. I love using fractal noise. It's really versatile. I can make different type of tutorial out of it.
I believe it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna pre-comp these. So I'm gonna make these two layers as one layer. So to do that, press Command Shift and C, and you can make it pre-comp. I'll name it brush texture pre-comp. Okay, so it became just one layer. So now we're gonna add colors. So you see this yellow is kind of base solid layer in the background. So I'm gonna add solid layer. So when you click rectangle tool, double click, and it will create the layer. Okay, I'm gonna make it as a background layer. I already created color palette comp to pick the color. So, so I'll put this here, and then you can make this, when you right click, you can make a guide layer. So guided layer, it means you can see in the comp, but when you get out of this comp, you won't see it. It's just for, it's like it's the layer is became just guidance. So it's not gonna be rendered. So I'll go to this background layer and then click this fill. And then I'll do eyedropper to this yellow color.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, now we've got this
It's cool
this
with the color change, you can immediately see it coming to
yeah,
life now.
yeah, from black and white. Yeah, yellow color, it makes it really bright now. Yeah. So, and then when you look back this animation again, I've added white and then orange and then dark orange color. So I'm gonna duplicate this brush texture to have multiple color. I'm gonna duplicate this. To do that, you can hold Command and then press the D. So it's complete duplicated. And then to change the color, I'm gonna add effects fill. So you search fill and then drag it and then drop it to this layer. And then again, I'll turn on this color palette layer. And then I used eyedropper to change the color. So, okay, I'll turn off this background layer. The problem now is, so because I just duplicate the same thing and then on top of it change the color, it just cover the white color. So I'm gonna offset the timing so that you can see both white and orange color. So I'm gonna make this whole comp duration as 5 seconds. So when you press the command key and K, changed whole duration is 5 seconds. And then, oh, okay, I did it wrong. 5 seconds. Okay. So from here to offset the timing, you click the press Y, and then you can drag it this. So changing the timing. So you can see both white and orange color. Now looking at it now, I might just slightly change the fractal noise so that you can see like less textures on each layer. I'll go back to this brush texture pre-comp and I'll adjust, maybe I'll make it more dark. And maybe I might change roughen edge from rusty to maybe roughen one. Okay, maybe. Yeah, it's
There's
after
so
it's
much
just
that you can play with.
yeah, it's just so much things to play around with it. So to be honest, after making all this animation, I'm like, wait, how did I made it? I need to
And
go
you have
back
to go
and
back and see all the steps, right?
yeah, so because I adjusted so many things, like even now, like okay, maybe I should adjust this again. So
Relate. And
well,
I'm probably sure that tons of people in the comments can relate to that as well. I think any
yeah,
creative product, any creative
yeah.
person, it's so much just tweaking and going
I
back and forth.
know. Yeah, I know. Like, you don't want your animation too simple. You just keep adding details here and there, and then like, yeah, it became really complicated.
Yes, just builds
Okay,
on itself.
I know. Okay, I'll go back to the brush texture. Okay, now I see a bit. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna duplicate one more time to have this a bit more dark orange color. So I'll duplicate, so press Command D and I'll change the color. Okay, I'll turn on this color palette again and then pick this color and offset the timing. Yeah, okay. So you see all this white and orange and dark orange all together.
Mhm.
So this is gonna be the base of this texture in this coming out of this trumpet. So now we're gonna add it to the trumpet. So when you go to project and go back to this character, yeah. So I already created where the texture can coming out from. So I'm gonna drag it this brush texture to this comp. I'll change the color of the layer. So from here, I'm gonna attach to this null layer. To do that, click this brush texture layer and I parent it to this null layer. And then when you click this drop down menu, you can see transform, and then I'll change the position, change to 0, 0, and then change the rotation 0. Also change the anchor point to the X position 0. So now
Cool.
it's
Coming
gonna come.
together.
Yeah, coming together. It's coming together. So yeah, and then I might just slightly scale down, maybe 70%. Okay. So from here, I'm gonna make the basic kind of wave shape first. And originally I created this illustration in Illustrator. So I'm gonna follow this wave shape as a kind of base. And I already made this layer to follow. So I'll keep this layer on and then click this brush texture again. And I'm gonna use mesh warp.
We got in the comments too. We've got Penny Doodle saying nice. We have Robert saying cool. Like I think it's really interesting to see how all of
Yeah,
these little pieces can just come together into the
yeah,
creation.
yeah. It's a kind of, I don't know, funny because I've like took a lot of time to make this animation actually, and then try to make it like show you in a short amount of time, so you might see a lot
Mhm.
of things happening.
It's great though.
Okay, so yeah, I edited the mesh warp. We don't need to adjust the columns. Wait, is it column? No, it wasn't column, it was row. I always get confused. Okay, I've reduced the rows to one. Maybe columns, maybe 6 would be enough. So from here, when you click this point, you can adjust this like this. You can
Oh.
distort it. So I'll click this edge. Oop. Okay, let's go zoom in. Oop. Okay, let's drop it down to this. It's gonna take a bit of time.
That's all right. That is all
Okay.
right. As you
Yeah.
go, actually, I'm where's my oopsie? I want to know a little bit about how you like got into
Yeah.
motion design.
Okay. So yeah, where I was majored in like multimedia design at uni, and at uni I've learned a lot of things, not just motion graphics, like just typography, web design, application design, just anything like
Hmm.
related to design. And among all the subjects, I was definitely hooked on motion graphics. I was just like so fascinated. And
Hmm.
like I don't know, it's just like when I saw like other like student like created motion graphics, like senior students, like this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I was like, is I want to do this. And yeah, from there I was like just learning After Effects and creating any like motion graphics for exhibition. Yeah, I always feel lucky that I found something I love.
Mm.
Yeah, like early 20s, and then I can like stick to it, and I still love it, which is really, really like grateful.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that. I love that. Well, you're incredibly talented at it. So,
Thank
so good.
you.
Oh,
Okay.
and look at that.
So now we've got the base shape. Okay. But one thing you need to do from here though, I'm not sure if you can see, it's not, the line is slightly jagged line. So to fix that, you can increase the quality to 10. Then it will definitely smooth out the curve. So yeah, this is the basic of the wave shape I made. But when you look at the sample animation, the outline of shape is keep moving, like keep moving like with this kind of like wave.
Yeah,
So to do that, I'm gonna add two more effects. I'm gonna add a lot of effects.
I love it. Get to see all the potential. I feel like there, with so many of the Adobe tools, there's so many potential
I
effects to
know.
use, and you can
Yeah,
either click through them one by one, but something like this is so great because you can see how somebody else
I
uses
know.
them.
Yeah, even I'm sure there must be effects I've never used. But I'm sure there will be
Yes,
something will be or sometimes will be useful. Um,
absolutely.
okay, I'll add this wave warp to this layer. Okay, this is a bit too much. I'll increase the width. Maybe what for maybe four. Let's go quite far. 400. And then maybe 25. Okay, this is moving. So to kind of just make this wave animation, I often use wave warp, but because of wave warp, creating like quite consistent wave like length, which is, I don't know, for me it's a bit boring. So to on top of it, so I add one more thing, which is turbulent displays. So turbulent displays will distort the graphics more randomly. So I'm gonna use it again, maybe 10 amount times, and then increase the complexity maybe 2. So yeah, I think in general I'm happy with it, but I see the problem here is this edge just keep moving. It's not, I don't want it to move whole comp. I want this left edge fixed. So to do that, there's pinning on the wave warp. You can change from none to left edge. And also you need to do here, you go to turbulent displays, go to pinning, and there's pin left locked. Okay, so when you play it now, so yeah, left
Oh,
edge is
wow.
fixed. So now we've got the general wave animation and moving textures.
Hmm.
This is the basic. And then I'm gonna keep adding stuff.
We're
So
ready.
yeah. So when you look at it, so this like yellow background is not like fully covered. So you see these textures outside of this yellow background color. So to achieve that, so we'll go back to brush texture comp, and then I'm gonna, okay, let's change the name. Yellow background.
I
And if
have a
you,
question. Do you make it a habit of labeling your layers? I know that that's a
yeah, yeah.
conversation a lot of us. You're good
Yeah,
at it?
yeah. I think I'm not that bad. But yeah,
Okay.
sometimes like when I'm like just so in the mood and I keep adding texture and then I realize, oh wait, I didn't name it. And then yeah, and then in the end whenever I find out I didn't name it, then I kind of change it. Like I did now. Yeah, it's also
That's,
very important.
yeah, I think it saves us a lot of headache later on.
Yeah, yeah, and then also like keep changing the layer color from like orange, or maybe
Hmm.
orange makes sense. It's a bit embarrassing to say, but sometimes spend a lot of time to changing the like layer colors. Like, wait, does it make sense? Is blue color make sense? Like,
Does
just
this match the feeling of what this
yeah,
one is?
yeah. It's just sometimes like, what am I doing? It's not important.
You know what? It's part of your process, so it is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. It's my style.
We
Okay,
actually do
so
have a quick question from
yeah.
Robert. It's do you make typed storyboards before you begin to get all in
Mm.
correct order?
Yes. If I create like 1 minute animation and it has storyline, I definitely go with storyboard. And even not storyboard at first, you just kind of scribble in your notebook, like just like real like drawing stickman, like okay, character will be here, and then looking at the that like for the background and the next scene, like
Mhm.
zooming. So yeah, I really need to like draw and then see the flow, and then like look at the storyboard and thinking like, does it have a good flow? And then yeah, for me, definitely I'm always draw storyboard first
Yeah,
and then design.
very
Yeah.
cool. And so for something like this too, do you find that you have a bit of a vision written down of where you want the graphic,
Yeah,
the texture to go?
yeah, for this animation, I actually created for this Adobe Live, and like I was thinking, oh, what can I show? And then I was thinking, well, I love texture. I'm good at like creating texture in After Effects. So let's show that one. But how I can show that texture? Which kind of example? And I was drawing like, oh, maybe it can like coming out of like musical instrument. So I was
Mhm.
thinking of trumpet or saxophone, like different type of musical instrument. I keep drawing and which one makes more sense. So yeah, for that, just keep scribbling and then think about it. And then when it like I think like, okay, this makes sense, then I go into more detailed like sketch.
Mhm.
So this one sketch was like, let me show you. Where is it? Let's see. Yeah, originally I drew like this texture.
Okay.
So yeah, I was
Very
thinking,
cool.
okay, yeah, I think from texture coming out of this trumpet will look cool. So, but the background I wasn't very wasn't sure about this. So I created this background like afterwards. I changed it to this kind of yeah way. Yeah.
Very cool. Love seeing the process.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I'm
And Axel
gonna
says beautiful.
thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna change this background layer, not like cover full like comp. I'm gonna slightly scale down like this. And then when you go back, you see this now,
Ah.
the texture is coming the outside of this yellow background. So you're having more, you see more textured thing
Mhm.
on the outline. And one more tip, when I was adjusting this background, like, oh, how much should I scale down? Um, the good tip is when you see this comp and there is in this composition window, you see the lock icon and you click locked this window. So now this comp window is locked. And then when you click this blue text, go to new comp viewer, then now you have two windows. The first one is locked, second one is not locked. So when you go into this pre-comp, you see both comp at the same time.
Ah,
So like you see changing this like how much shall I like change it and you see at the same time. So rather than
that is
going
so helpful.
back and forth, you kind of turn on these two windows and keep adjusting it. So this is how I often do. Okay, so yeah, now we have this. And one thing I want to also add more effects on this yellow background. When you say it's kind of hard edge, so I want to add texture on this too as well. So, okay, let's lock this comp again and then new comp viewer, go into this pre-comp again. I'm gonna add roughen edge again. So you'll see both comp
Yeah.
scale. folder, maybe change scales and increase the complexity, maybe a bit more. Yeah, you see this having a bit more textured outline.
So
Okay.
cool to see it in real time, side by side like that.
Yeah, it's just when I found out this one, like I was like, wow, I can
What?
do this. I was
No
like,
longer guessing, like, I think
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
I
gonna
know.
work.
Yeah. That's why it's like good to like work in a like kind of studio, even like working studio. Like
Mm.
just you pick other people's brain, like, oh wait,
Yeah.
you can do that. Like so yeah, I think especially when you're like beginning of your career, it's always good to be surrounded by other like animators, motion designer.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I think I forgot one more thing. So when you're like adding kind of mesh warp, wave warp, like when you're adding any distortion, the comp might become slightly blurry. So to fix that, I add sharpen effect. So I'll add it to it and then maybe I'll increase all the way 100 and it looks much crispy. Like
Hmm.
so yeah. Yeah, that's like yeah, whenever you add like any like distortion, it's good to add in sharpen effects. Okay, so
So
yeah.
cool.
So this is the base. And then I'm gonna add one more thing. So when you see this purple brush strokes passing by, like so I think always it's good to like adding details that is slightly different shape, color, or different speed and makes it more fun and dynamic. So I'm gonna add this one. So we are gonna create short brush stroke. And then to do that, let's create new comp.
We also
Maybe
have some people guessing what kind of music he's playing. Robert says maybe a tango solo, maybe. Penny's saying he's definitely
yeah,
doing some sort of solo. So
yeah,
fun. Through the texture,
yeah.
you can hear the music.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want to make like maybe animate this with actual music. That would be really fun.
Hmm.
But for this one, I just wanted to make 5 seconds loop, which is it would be hard to have music. But it's funny though, like I uploaded it on Instagram and someone saying like, is it Chet Baker? Like, oh, that's a good
Oh,
idea. Maybe I should add that one. Yeah.
so funny.
I think I imagine more like jazz music, maybe because I
I
love
can see
jazz.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay. Oh, yeah. So I created new comp. The size is 1,400, 500, and I changed the comp name as a short brush stroke. And then I'm gonna actually, I often make like main comp and then make pre-comps folder and then put everything inside the pre-comps folder. Yeah, okay. So another
Perfect.
thing to be organized. Yeah, and then so I'm gonna create like short brush stroke like amount this size maybe. So I'll click this rectangle tool and then draw it. And
Mm.
then I'll make this just black color because we can change the color later. So this is gonna be kind of rough size that I wanna make as a brush stroke. And then okay. And then I'm gonna add new layer to have fractal noise again. So control, command and Y, create new layer and fractal noise. Fractal noise again here. And I'm gonna do the same thing again, like go to transform, change the scale, stretch it, and then adjust the contrast, brightness. Okay, this time, so I made this fractal noise layer, and then I'm gonna add effects on stroke this layer. So I turn on this fractal noise for now, and then I'm going to add this placement map. And then I'm gonna have the map layer. I'm gonna use the fractal noise as a map layer. Choose this. And then because we are using the this layers effects, we're gonna change from source to effects. And then we'll change this to luminance and luminance. Okay, and from here you just adjust these numbers. So this layer will have this texture like distortion from this fractal
Yeah.
noise map. Okay, I'm gonna adjust this again. And I don't want this hard edge, so I'm gonna make this rectangle kind of rounded shape. So when you go to contents and rectangle, I'll change the roundness. So I have, okay. Maybe I'll scale down it a little bit. Yeah. Okay, and then from here, also I'm gonna add another layer, adjustment layer. Command Alt Y. This time, instead of using roughen edge, there's other effects as well. So I'm gonna use scatter this time. And then when you increase it, you see the outline is slightly like textured. It's not
Yeah.
hard edge. So it's just the other way around, the other way, like adding kind of texture.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna maybe adjust a little bit more. Yeah, so we have like short brush stroke, and then we are gonna add it to this brush texture comp. To do that, we're gonna drag this comp to this comp.
Yeah.
So this time we are going to keyframe, so moving from here to here. So I'll put this on the left side, and then drop down menu, go to position. Okay, I'll go to the first frame. Maybe 3 seconds. Okay, oh, okay, move the X position this way. So we have this short brush stroke is moving.
Yeah.
One thing I missed is so as I did with this texture, I made it like moving by itself. So I'm gonna edit that to this short brush stroke as well.
Okay.
So when you go to fractal noise again, we're gonna animate this, and then
Okay, so that
again,
it's
yeah,
moving itself.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, very cool.
So I'm gonna add again time expression. So I'll click this watch while holding Alt key. And let's say time multiply 500. So we'll keep moving. Maybe
Mm.
it's too much, but we'll see. So yeah, it will keep
Okay.
moving also whilst moving X position. So when you see it from outside, you see this coming out.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. Oh, and then let's change the color. So I'll turn on this color palette again and use the
That
effects
color
field.
palette is so handy. That's definitely
Yeah.
something I'm going to be taking going forward.
Yeah. It's handy to have it. I just keep using eyedropper.
Hmm.
So use this and then maybe this color. So yeah, you get this
Wow.
color. So from now, I just keep duplicate these things.
Hmm.
Um, okay, yeah. So I'll duplicate this and again maybe coming a bit later and then change the Y position. Yes, Y position. Drag all this keyframe, and then you can click this edge and move it to the top of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, from here, you're basically now just you're tweaking, you're
Yeah,
duplicating, you're adding
exactly.
different
Yes, yes.
layers. I
Yeah.
love
It's
that.
it just can go on and on and on.
It's infinite and we I love it. We're gonna keep looking at it. I just
Yeah,
want to quickly
keep
say if there's
changing.
any more
Yeah.
people in the comments before we
Yeah.
near the end, I do want,
Yeah.
if you have questions, please
Yeah.
drop them in. It can be about this specific process. It can be about her journey. Just let us know. So we want to make sure we can get those questions in. But
Okay, great.
otherwise, Myungeun, continue.
Okay. Yeah, just so maybe I'll make one more different shape of brush strokes. I'll slightly maybe thinner one. So I'll name original one as a one and then duplicate second one and go into that comp. But I'll adjust the size maybe a bit thinner. Okay. Keep changing this. Maybe a bit more like this. Okay, go back to this brush texture comp. And I'm gonna swap it to the second version of it. To do that, you can hold the Alt key and then drag it to this, and then we'll swap. So, okay. So yeah, and then again, just duplicate this thing and then change the white position and maybe change the color, maybe white one. So yeah, okay. And then I'll duplicate all through layer again and then offset it, timing. So yeah,
And
and when
Axel here, just wanting to say thank you for sharing your process. Many ideas are coming from your process.
no, thank
And I
you.
think I definitely agree. I feel like as we go through, there's just so much potential for
Yeah.
all of these different textures. And I just want to give you a heads up too. We do have about 7 minutes left.
Okay. Yeah. Almost there. Okay. So yeah,
Oh,
now we have like
wow.
different like strokes coming out like in a different speed. So yeah, it's basically like yeah, as I said, keep just adding different speed, color, shape, and that
Hmm.
way you can make it more dynamic, less boring. So yeah, so this is the basic. So what can I? Okay, so because we don't have much time left, maybe I can show you the texture in the background. Because like for this one, now I think from now on you can just keep adding your own like version. So
Yeah.
okay, to show that the background elements. So there's already I created this background elements comp, which is these elements.
Oh,
So to add, when you look at this animation, let's zoom in. Okay, sorry, I think. You see this the like kind of blurry textured bit is quite
yeah.
in a random place.
Oh, yeah.
So like this bit has more texture than this bit has less.
Hmm.
So to achieve that, so I've already created the map layer. So okay, maybe I'll show you from the scratch. So I pitch this. So I'm gonna make another like map layer to do that. So create new layer and fractal noise again.
I'm definitely going to be playing with fractal noise after this.
Please do. It's so much fun. Okay, and then change the transform. We'll scale up a bit more, increase the contrast. So, like basically, I want the background elements having blurry like texture effects on this white area. So, so bear that in mind. So this white kind of area will be the where the effects will be. Okay, so we created this map. You go out, so click this background elements layer, and then we are going to add camera lens blur. So when you see this, there's a blur map, and you can pick that to this fractal noise map. So yeah, when you turn off this, not if you're not using map, it just all the elements are just look blurry.
Got it.
But as you use this map, you having just that white area having these effects.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, that's how I achieve that kind of random
Okay.
like gradients. And then on top of it to have slight more texture. So I'm gonna duplicate these background elements and then delete this blur. This time I'll use scatter. Increase a little bit. So again, I don't want this scatter effects on every element. So to just, I'm going to use this fractal map again to use that to, you see this track mate like section, and then you use this map as a mat.
Okay. Yeah.
So now it doesn't work because there's no alpha channel. Instead, when you click this bit one more time, then it will use the luminance. So now you see the scatter effects only in partial area.
Okay.
So that's how I achieve this kind of randomly having like this texture bit.
That's very cool.
So yeah, from here again, you
Yeah.
just keep playing around, maybe increase it and decrease that. So yeah, that's how I
That's
did adding texture. Yeah.
that is awesome. It's it's so cool. I'm so curious when you do a project like this, like how long does it with all
Mm,
of the tweaking, like what would you say is the maybe shortest end and what is, I know it's probably infinite, but what's the longest,
yeah.
the extremes?
Extreme. Um, I think I don't know, it's hard to pick one. Like if I work on commercial project, then depending on the how long the animation is and then how the clients are willing to
Yeah.
listen to my decision. Like if they are too like giving me a lot of feedback, then will like the work really long. But when it comes to personal project, yes, it's really hard to pick the like finish point. Like
Hmm.
because I'm like never be happy with like I can do something more and like keep adding something and adding something. Um yeah, I don't know, it's hard to say like
Yeah.
yeah, I guess
Do you go
it
back?
varies.
It varies. That makes sense. Do you go back often on a project you've done, a personal one you've done before, and then tweak it way, way later?
Yeah, I do that too because sometimes like you stuck. Like I feel like it's not finished, but I definitely want something more, but I don't know what. Then just
Hmm.
leave it and then maybe come back in a week and like look at it. Then you might think, oh, actually it's not too bad, or you might think, oh, actually maybe I can add this more. Then yeah, I can work that way as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I want to say huge, huge thank you to you for showing us your process. We had
Thank
a
you.
lot of fun. I think a lot of us are going to be going and playing in the future with all of these watching the replay. Do you want to let everybody know where they can find you online?
Mhm. Yeah, sure thing. So, yeah, if you guys want to see more of my work, you can visit my website, myungeunkim.com, or you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is myung_motion. For Instagram, I might upload more like behind the scene and maybe more personal projects, whilst the website will be more like portfolio, the commercial work. So depending what you want to see, you can choose one of them.
Amazing. All right, everybody. We had a great time. And please stick around because we do have some more Adobe Live coming your way. Thank you guys so incredibly much. It was a lot of fun. Myungeun, thank you again for your time, and we'll see you
No,
guys all later.
thank you.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
one, everybody.